Hi. Hi, Hester. I don't know you at all, but I decided that I'd make this video for you. Um, the advice that I gave, you know, it's the same with everyone's advice. Generally, it's some insight that they've had themselves, or it's something that they've read somewhere, something that sounds good to them. And more often than not, I think that advice we give other people is advice that we should take ourselves. And I said to you that I thought that it was better that you try and sort of be with the fear rather than push it away and move away from it. I had the thought afterwards that maybe you didn't know how to do that, and I never knew how to do that, and so I just thought that I'd show you how I did it in the hope that it might be able to help you. And also, coming back to this original thought that the advice we give other people we should give ourselves. So I'm sure that this self-inquiry session, which is what this is going to be equally for me as it is for you. So I've just got your message here, and I'm just reading at the end that you're making it very clear that the fear is not being able to support yourself. And I've definitely had that, and in some degree have that with me at the moment. So so this is how I would be with that, and let's see if some understanding and insight come, and maybe you can follow along. I know this is a bit weird, but I'm making my own channel and making my own business. I facilitate people and share facilitation with people that are suffering, so I thought this might be an interesting way to create some videos or video. But anyway, this is for you and for me, and we'll see what happens with it afterwards. So generally I just close my eyes at the start so that I can be a bit more aware of what thoughts are happening in my mind, and it's like thoughts as in how they're coming up into my mind as well. So are they images, is it visual, or is it words and a voice in the mind? And I let the narrative start playing in my mind. So my situation is at the moment that I've been given this grant to do this business. So while I've got some money coming in, a little bit money from the people with the grant, and a little bit of money from the business itself, it's only a certain period of time. So it only goes for 6 months, and there's about 2 months to go, and after that I'm not sure what's going to happen. Okay, so the idea is to get the story playing, get it generating, and get the feeling in the body of what's happening. So the feeling of the fear, or maybe this time you tell the story it's not fear, and you know that's the thing that gives you understanding. But if I sort of allow that story to generate in the mind, I see an image of myself with my pockets out, not having any money, and then the thought comes and the feeling comes of not knowing what to do, and that comes as this sort of sensation in the stomach of fear. It's got a little bit of trembling there, and it might take you a little bit more to get into this. Maybe you go straight into it with your own story and your own feelings. So I let that story be here. I let the story of me not having any money and not knowing what to do in that moment be here, and then the questions come into my mind that sort of progress the story or go a bit deeper. So So as I'm sort of watching that image and feeling the sensation, it's important to do both, to watch what's happening in the mind and to feel what's going on in the body. The question comes up, like, where's the actual suffering here? Okay. And I notice that it comes in as a body sort of thing. So I feel the feeling of having the pockets open, and I feel like I'm right there, not knowing what to do, not having any money. And then the question is, something like, what's the worst that can happen? Because in that situation, it's actually okay. Okay, I've got my pockets out, I've got no money, but as I let that be here, I recognise that, it's not bad at all in that particular moment. And is it then something after that? How does that story continue? Is there some suffering that happens in there? Okay, and so what happens for me is actually my wife comes in, and there's this thought that, my wife needs to support me. And there's a sense of being less than that comes with that. Like I'm less than people, like I'm not good enough because my wife has to support me. And you want to just move where the story goes, take the intellect out and just let the story move and progress, and then find the suffering, be with the suffering, and then move through the suffering, or the suffering moves through itself. So this part of the story is, okay, that there's this bad kind of feeling that comes with that thought that, my wife will have to look after me. Okay, and then your words come in that I'm afraid that I can't support myself. But in this moment for me, I'm afraid that I'll be seen as not being able to support myself. That's where the fear is for me in this. Okay, and then once that identity comes up of something that we don't like, something that we don't want, then I try as best as I can to allow that to be here in this safe spot. There's a recognition here that, okay, this is just happening in my mind as well, and my body, and it's kind of like the question comes in: what's that feel like to be this less than person that needs his wife to support him? And there's a strong feeling that comes with that in the lower belly, and the body doesn't lie, so the mind can make its stories and get analytical and intellectual and all of that, but when the body is affected by a thought that we believe, then we know that that it's true, that somewhere in there we believe that thought. So somewhere in there I believe that I'm not good enough and I don't want to experience that, but it's here now. And I'm feeling the sensation of that. I'm noticing in the mind that there's like an image of me with my head down, not being good enough. And my wife's there, and she's kind of up higher and above me, and then as I sort of look out into that image and see what else is here, I see that it's like the entire world is like up above and looking out onto me, and ridiculing me or looking down at me, and it's not a nice feeling. It's not a nice image in the mind, but I'm still here, The greatest fear that we have is that we're not going to exist anymore. But all the things that we've been through and all of our fears that we do go through, because we go through a fear when we have a fear, we go through that situation in our mind, we're still here at the end of it. And I don't know myself to have not ever been here. I'm always here. And this is an insight for me in this moment, some understanding for me, because what it does is it allows me to sort of sink into this role and the feeling and the experience of being less than. So, it's not so pleasant. There's a little bit unpleasant feeling it's moved up into the solar plexus area, and it's kind of rolling a little bit. The sensation in that feeling in the body, but but um, but I can settle into it and go, okay, this is what's here now. And see, we suffer when we try and push the things that are here away, or we try and make them stay. It's pretty. The Buddhists have got it right in that regard. So rather than do those things, if that comes up into my mind, if I notice an escape or some type of intellectual, bantering or trying to do something with it, then that's the thing that I'm looking at. That's where the awareness goes to. But in this moment, there's no escape, and I feel that there's different parts of the body come online. The lower leg comes in, and there's a feeling of pain that comes with that. And I just feel that and experience that. So, and as I sit with the sensation, this sense of grief comes up. It comes up into the face. There's a sense of wanting to cry a little bit. Like a sense of loss. And I don't fully understand it. I don't understand how we got here. I don't understand why that's here. But I don't really need to in this moment. Grief's here. I'm in grief. I am grief. So nothing lasts forever. And actually, when that comes in, there's a realization that nothing lasts forever, then there's an actual enjoyment of the thing that's here. Like, you allow the space, the relaxation to happen, and grief becomes a beautiful thing. Fear becomes a beautiful thing. So there's no desire to get rid of what's here. And then what that creates is this fullness to the experience. Something that we would think generally that we don't like. We want to get away from. We don't want to feel grief. We don't want to feel fear. We don't want to feel loss. And so what happens is it kind of just does itself. It moves through. Maybe it peaks or something, and now I feel the sensation still here, a little bit down here, but it doesn't have the quality of fear or grief or anything like that. It just has this sort of quality of moving and a solidness to it. So I just stick with that sensation of solidness, noticing what's coming up into the mind, if there's something coming up, if there's some sort of suffering that's here. And then usually what happens is, because basically I've moved through this story of me being, the fear and the of not being able to be supported, and then the fear of being supported by my wife and what that looks like, and the not wanting to be seen as someone that's less than everyone else because I can't support myself, and the insight arises that sort of moves you through into the next part of it. So where I am at the moment is that everything's okay. I don't have a feeling of anything other than what's here at the moment. But generally the story will come back around, and it's always good to revisit where you started from. So I bring back in the story of, okay, my wife is supporting me, and then it's so this gratitude comes through in that, I can support my wife as well. I'm supporting her in a different way by being at home and making sure the house is warm and there's food here, and her working life is as comfortable as possible, and and there's a joy in like being at home and working from home, and you know it becomes like the other part of the story comes in to neutralize things. Whereas before, if I solely believed that I'm bad and I'm need to be supported and that's when the suffering is, because the whole truth's not being told. But if you allow the space and you allow it to be here, then the it's a bit like grace. The grace or the insight or whatever comes in and it shows you the other side, the fuller part of the story, and that's the release of the suffering, and understanding comes, and then the stories of of um, of tomorrow, of yesterday, they fall away in that moment, and you come back a bit more to this present moment, and from here we can make better choices, better like mm, you know choices and things. There you go. This is where the excitement part's in, because now we can come back here to this moment of sort of nothingness. It's not exactly right, but this neutrality. Even that's not really right, but we can come back out of that point of suffering, and now I can make the decision to go and do the most exciting thing, and actually that's enlivening to me in this moment. The thought of now I'm going to go and do this, do the thing that's most exciting, which is funnily enough is to now go and support my wife. We'll need to get some water for the sauna, so when she comes home we can have a sauna together, and it's snowing, so I can go outside and do some snow work and do some sauna work, and that's exciting. And there's a real sense of gratitude that comes with that, right in the solar plexus, and yeah, I've talked a lot, but it's a nice place to end. Yeah, I hope I've helped in some ways, but really I've helped myself, so I'm appreciative regardless. And Hester, I think the name was Hester Regort. I hope that you can spend some time with your fear and see that it's not what you thought it was, and and again, I'm appreciative for myself in this. So take what you will from it. It's just the cherry on the top.